Hi, welcome. This is slow, clear English for passive listening. I'll speak gently and explain as we go. Have you ever heard the expression to learn the ropes? Keep that phrase in mind because we'll come back to it at the end. Today, let's talk about something many people struggle with but rarely admit the discomfort of being a beginner. Being new at something can feel awkward. You do not know what to do, where to start, what questions to ask, or whether everyone else can tell that you are completely lost. Sometimes, just watching someone experience can make you feel even worse. They make it look easy while you are still trying to understand the most basic step. And this is where many people stop, not because they are incapable, but because they hate feeling incapable. We often want to be good at something immediately. We want to speak confidently, perform well, understand quickly, and avoid embarrassing mistakes. But beginners are not supposed to look polished. They are supposed to be confused, slow, and imperfect. That is not failure. That is the starting point. The problem is that we compare our first attempt with someone else's hundredth. We watch a skilled artist, a confident speaker, an experienced athlete, or a successful creator and forget that they once struggled too. We only see the result, not the awkward beginning behind it. Nobody starts as an expert. Every confident person was once unsure. Every skilled person once asked basic questions. Every impressive result began with something small, messy, and probably a little embarrassing. But because we rarely see those early stages, we begin to believe that talent should look effortless from the beginning. If we are not naturally good at something, we assume it is not for us. That belief can quietly limit our lives. We avoid joining a class because we might be the weakest person there. We delay starting a project because the first version may not be good. We stay silent because we are afraid of saying the wrong thing. We tell ourselves we will begin when we feel more confident. But confidence usually comes after practice, not before it. You begin, feel uncomfortable, make mistakes, learn, and slowly become confident. The uncomfortable part is not a sign that you should stop. It is often a sign that you are learning. Think about the first time you tried something unfamiliar. Maybe you started a new job, learned a new software, spoke in front of people, or tried to exercise regularly. At first, everything required extra attention. Even simple tasks felt tiring because your brain was processing so much new information. Then, over time, things became easier, not because the task changed, but because you did. That is what progress often looks like. Quiet repetition until something that once felt impossible begins to feel normal. Being a beginner also means making mistakes in front of other people, and that can be uncomfortable. We worry about looking foolish or being judged, but most people are far less focused on our mistakes than we imagine. They're usually too busy thinking about their own. And even when someone does judge, that says more about them than it does about your willingness to learn. There is courage in being bad at something and continuing anyway. It is easy to participate when you already know you will perform well. It takes more strength to show up when you may struggle, ask for help, or admit that you do not understand. Beginners are often more courageous than experts because they are stepping into uncertainty. Another reason being a beginner feels difficult is that progress can be slow. In the early stage, improvement is not always obvious. You may practice for days or weeks and still feel clumsy. You may wonder whether any of your effort is working. But progress is not always dramatic. Sometimes progress is noticing one mistake sooner, completing a task slightly faster, understanding one concept that confused you before, feeling a little less nervous than the last time. Small improvements may not feel exciting, but they are still proof that you are moving. It also helps to stop expecting the beginner stage to be temporary in the way we usually imagine. Even experienced people become beginners again when they try something new. A skilled teacher may struggle with technology. A successful manager may feel nervous learning a language. A talented musician may feel completely lost in a new sport. Being a beginner is not a phase that disappears forever. It is something we return to whenever we grow. And perhaps that is a good thing. If you are never a beginner, it may mean you are only doing things you already know. Growth usually requires entering spaces where you are not yet comfortable. So instead of asking, why am I so bad at this? Try asking, what am I learning from this? Instead of saying, I should already know this. Remind yourself, I am still learning. The words we use matter. They can turn a mistake into evidence of failure or evidence of progress. You can also make the process easier by focusing on consistency rather than perfection. The goal of your first attempt is not to impress anyone. It is simply to begin. Your first video may be awkward, your first presentation may not be smooth, your first workout may leave you exhausted. That is fine. The first version is allowed to be imperfect because its purpose is to exist. Once it exists, you can improve it. It is also important to celebrate effort, especially in the beginning. Many people only feel proud when they achieve a visible result, but showing up matters too. Asking a question matters. Trying again matters. Practicing when you still feel unsure matters. These are the small actions that eventually create skill. You do not need to be the best person in the room. You only need to be willing to learn. And remember, being surrounded by people who know more than you is not always something to fear. It can be an advantage. You are in a place where there is something to gain. You can observe, ask questions, and improve faster. You are not behind. You are simply at the beginning of your own process. So let yourself be new. Let yourself make mistakes. Let yourself ask simple questions, repeat instructions, and improve slowly. You do not have to hide the fact that you are learning. There is nothing embarrassing about starting. The only truly sad part is refusing to begin because you are afraid of not being good immediately. Now, let's return to the expression from the beginning. To learn the ropes. It means to learn how something works, especially when you are new to a job, task, or activity. And that is exactly what being a beginner is about. You are not expected to know everything yet. You are learning the ropes, one mistake, one lesson, and one small improvement at a time. So be patient with yourself. You are not failing, you are beginning.
If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.